Hello everybody, welcome to Awakened Positive Power, where beautiful Darcy Marta, my co-host, and myself, Jemima Godsall, we come to you each weekend with topics surrounding depression, mental health awareness, and suicide prevention through awareness. They are heavy topics, we understand that, guys. A couple of things before we get started. There is a disclaimer down below, but also, more importantly, there is a 1-800 number that you can grab for you or for anybody else who needs an ear, help, or if you're worried about someone else. That's very important. It's right down there if you need it. Darcy and I are coming from a friend's perspective and our own input and our own experience, not from any clinical side, so just so you know that. So we're just having a random conversation. What we're trying to do is normalize the conversation around these topics, because as we continue to say, every time we talk about something, it kind of deflates the whole, diffuses exactly the big energy around it. It can help you a lot. So that's what we're trying to do, no shame at all. And so, Das, we had a little break last week, but we're back. Hello. So important sometimes to take a little time out to regroup and come back together when it's necessary. So, also be honest to what your body, mind, and spirit need in that moment, just to honor where you are. And it happened to be Darcy and I sort of worked out that was perfect weekend for it. Darcy wasn't very well and I was not well in another way. So here we are. And Darcy, we'd like to talk today about setting unreasonable expectations for ourselves. Interesting. What made you think of that topic today? Is there something specific that you were thinking of, or?
Yeah, what made me think about it was what you were saying. You've recently had this big, enormous journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea here that we're discussing is unreasonable expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to let those two words hang out there for a minute. So you had this enormous journey, right? And you've come to this new place in your life. It's new in so many ways, right? Location, partnership, sober, you have your whole new perspective on life and how you deal with things, and physically you're in a brand new place, right? So that's mental change, emotional change, physical change, and spiritual change. So your physical changes are enormous, right? You're in this new place of great potential with a new partner that you've got to kind of, find your groove, right? Find your groove. It's one thing to be dating somebody and you're in, close proximity. It's another thing to be in that groove, right? Right there. And that changes a lot of dynamics. It brings up, behavior patterns and unreasonable expectations. And so when you go into...
Can I ask, sorry, are you saying from unreasonable expectations from somebody else or from yourself? Or both? Both, okay.
Absolutely both. So here you are in a new space that you want to develop into this big, huge idea. Mm-hmm. And you're literally at the place where you have to pick up the rocks and dig the dirt.
Literally. Yeah. I live in the desert, guys. If you don't know, I just moved to the desert, so literally.
Yeah, so here she is saying, I'm going to develop this land. Have you ever developed land before, Jemima?
No, not really.
Not really, right? Oh my God. The potential is enormous. It's super exciting. It's also overwhelming. It's also enormous. And the expectations are to be successful, and a lot of times we look at a project from the end result, which is both good and bad. You have to have a goal, focus, a reason to be doing what you're doing, but you can't live in that end result because that end result isn't happening yet. It doesn't happen until you do the first steps. So those, doing your long range goals and your short range goals are really important right now. Otherwise, you put unreasonable expectations on you to say, I have to get started today. I have to move every single rock out of this 5-acre piece of land. I have to, mow it down myself. Where's my hoe? Wait, where's my cow? And it puts this unreasonable expectation to get it done right now, to start right now. And then, starting off with a new relationship, to yourself.
Yeah, challenging. It's challenging.
Yeah.
I don't really know who I am, and I find myself this last week and a half, I've really found my behavior to go back to my patterns that I've been trying to break, because I'm not that person, and I don't want to be that person. I don't have to be that person evermore. Yeah, she's helped me then, but I've set this behavior that is unnecessary, but the habit of the behavior is there because it protected me back then, but it still wasn't good behavior, still was unattractive, still was, you know, a part of a behavior that I don't want to I don't want to do that anymore. You know, it's not right. It's not right in any form. And that's been really, really challenging because I don't really know who, I know I can create who I am, but it's so hard to break the triggers, the reaction to the triggers and the triggers aren't even anything to do with my current situation, which is even more annoying. It's like it's all from I don't even know, like it's past, I guess everything from the past is just bombarding me. And so my unreasonable expectation might be to want to automatically just start this new thing and be okay, but I have no idea. I'm freaking out that I am incapable of healing. You know, I'm freaking out that I'm not able to, that I don't have the know-how or the skills or tools to be able to, and I know I do. I have skills and tools, so that's what frustrates me. I'm like, well, why can't I put them into practice? Like, why can't I practice what I'm learning every day and embracing? And you know, it's been frustrating.
Well, you know, it's hard to do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have your tribe around you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have your group. You got to go to a class, be with a group. Got to be with your anchor. You know, it's just like when you're an actor. You know, I used to say to actors all the time, I just need to turn off my phone. If you're in a show, you don't need to take a class because you're in a show, you're working. Mm-hmm. If there's a gap when you're not working, you need to take a class. Mm-hmm. You need to keep your self-confidence up. You need to keep your, I'm going to change my view here. You need to keep your skill set up, right? You can't just let it fall away. It's really hard in isolation out by yourself to practice alone. Some people are really good at it. Some people have mastered it. And others, like me, I really need a tribe around me. I have to really make myself do my practice. I have to make myself do my practice. So fortunately, where I'm living now, I have this fireplace with a little mantelpiece right by the front door. And so I've lined up all my deities and my candles. The funny thing is if I wake up late, I don't have time to do my morning prayers, I'm putting my shoes on and I'm staring right at my mantelpiece. And I start going, I didn't do my practice this morning. I woke up late. I really need to do my practice when I come home. What intention can I set for myself for today? I'm really already harried. I'm running late. I'm grumpy. I need to set it. It reminds me because it's right in front of the front door. So, you know, I can't escape. That thing. I can't shove it in the closet or shove it in the back room and then not go in the back room. So that's one way I do it. But I really miss, one of the things I really miss, this phone just keeps pinging. Throw it away over there. One of the things I really miss is I used to have this meditation circle I did every Monday night when I was living in LA. And I'll tell you, that helped me enormously. For 6 years, every Monday night, I was so dedicated to it. And I would go because making those huge changes, going through divorce, getting a big job, losing a big job, you know, all the ups and downs of the entertainment industry, ending a role, beginning a role, ending another relationship, you know, that kind of stuff. It was so helpful to be in a group. So, you know,
but I am in a group. I'm in 3 groups. I've got my rebuild group, which is actually graduating in 1 week, which is sad. And that's awesome. I think that actually, those classes, and a meditation class, and then my morning classes. But that's, I think the rebuild has probably started a lot of this too emotional, like we started our roots, you know, how our roots created our core, and how we can also, how we can shift it as we are consciously aware of how that impact it made, but how we choose to behave with it now. But,
do you meet once a week?
Yeah, every Tuesday night. It ends in a 2 weeks, and I was going to go out for graduation, but it's kind of clashes with my new arrival here. It's too soon to leave our property yet, so I just said, I don't want to. So they're doing a beautiful ceremony for me on next Tuesday, which should be, but yes, that could, I don't know, it's just, I don't know what's going on really. I don't know. I feel like a real mental case. I feel the more sober I am, the longer I am in my virgin sobriety, I really see how sort of my head is the dis-ease of my mental state, my depression, and because I'm able now to step outside it, which is fantastic. And I can go, wow. But it's really quite, I'm sort of overwhelmed this week going, damn, my mind is playing tricks with me. You know, I can feel it snap, and I hear my internal going back, and I go, whoa, come back. Like, why are we going there? Like, what's happening? Like, out of control mental TikToks. That's just a habit, and a necessary habit, as I said, from the past to survive it. But then that makes me sad too, because damn, that was messed up situation. So messed up without being depressed or having anxiety. You know, it's like it was a messed up, twisted mind fuck. Pardon you. So it's just, I don't know.
Jemima, it's, you know, you are in a great place.
Yeah.
The fact that you're aware of this, the fact that you can recognize it, understand it, the fact that you can see it, talk about it, means that you're in a totally different place, that your healing is taking place. Your healing is working. You are on the right path. No one said it's going to be easy path.
It scares me too when people say, you know, how long we're an addict, and I said pretty much rounded up average 30 years, you know, some dabbling here and some not, you know, but average. And they say, you know, it takes just as long to undo that behavior. I'm going, that's not fair.
No, that's not true.
That makes me feel, okay.
I completely disagree.
I'll take your answer. I'll take you. Just you. I like that.
I agree with that. I think it'll take that long if you stew in your own juice for a long time and don't do your work. You know, I've also heard when you've been in a relationship for a long time, it takes half the amount of time to process it and get over it. Yeah. Depends on how you're processing it. If you're still doing the same old garbage and dating the same types of people, you know, and you're not making any kinds of changes, it potentially may take you half the amount of time or the full length of time or blah, blah, blah. It's all blah, blah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's all relative.
Yeah, it's all relative. And you are making huge progress. Okay, so the Tibetan monk, there was a Tibetan monk, Rinpoche, somebody that I cannot remember his name, I'm so sorry, said the human mind is like a drunk monkey stung by a bee.
Oh God, that's kind of dangerous.
That image, a drunk monkey stung by a bee.
No. Yeah, totally.
That's the human mind. And I think that's a brilliant illustration. And that's not for people who are, you know, dealing with addiction issues and healing and stuff. That's the human mind, a drunk monkey stung by a bee. And the idea of meditation is to, you know, calm that crazy monkey in there and deal with it. But it's a lifelong practice. It's a lifelong practice. Your healing will change. It will change. It will change. Think of yourself as hiking in the mountains or hiking or going for a 14-day backpacking trip. And you start at one elevation and you go to the other elevation, then you come back down and then you go back up, right? The elevation changes, the landscape changes, right? You're still marching forward. You come back down, it changes again. You go back up, it changes again. The temperature, your surroundings, everything changes and rearranges internally and externally. And so right now you're going through a big internal change. You're at a different elevation.
Yeah.
You're not going to end your journey because the elevation has changed.
No.
Right.
It's just, I think the unreasonable expectation, coming back to that, is I feel I should be further ahead. I feel like I'm sort of stuck again in that
unreasonable expectation.
Bucket. But the awareness gets me. Sometimes I wish I wasn't aware, because it's like, okay, if I'm so aware and the tools are there and I practice every day my things, my rituals, then what the hey? You know, like, when is that little tick going to stop? when is that? And being so conscious of going, and then being immediately, I'm still not able to catch myself in the behavior. It's immediately afterwards that I go, shit, sorry. But why can't I, why? You know?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you like your rituals?
Yeah, I love them. They're
Do you
beautiful.
love your process?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I do.
That's what's really important.
Yeah, I do.
Doesn't matter. Are you having fun when you do them?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they get me out of bed. Like, I mean, they're the thing that get me. I enjoy that is a motivation to get me out of bed because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel blissful. To start the day with gratitude and love and appreciation and just observing. And I'm now in such a rich environmental, like, lowland with Mother Nature surrounding me in a basin of mountains. So that's something that I got from isolation during COVID was my rituals and practicing. They've never changed, and maybe they can change, but right now they're just really rounded, and I know them, and they're good, and they're safe, and So that's the thing. That's why I go like, why isn't any of this helping then?
It is helping, because think of where you would be if you were not practicing.
Yeah, true.
Just think of what would be going on with you if you were not practicing. So stop shoulding on yourself, right? You're shoulding again, I should be this, I should be that, you should be where you are. And the unreasonable expectations are that you're supposed to be this grand master healer because you suffered and gone through it and now you're healed. My friend who's a hypnotherapist, she and I always made this joke where we tap each other on the head and go, be healed. Be healed. Be healed. Well, okay, I'm healed, right? But the triggers that come up, randomly throughout the day or the week are there for you to take your healing to yet another elevation on your journey. And the more difficult they are, then the higher you go on your elevation on your journey.
Do you believe that one can get over their triggers and it no longer will be a trigger? They can't.
Yeah, if you're going to be the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right. Come on, of course. Okay, so you mean, in other words, so I should expect the triggers to remain, but it's how I react to the trigger that is the change.
Right. Yeah.
But that's so frustrating that we'll always be triggered by the same freaking thing. You kidding me? Oh, I didn't know that one. I did not know that one. That makes me want to cry because that's really tough. That's really disturbing.
Yeah, you don't have to take a huge see, right now the triggers have power over you. You've given them too much power. Let's say I had a really big issue with my mother growing up. Let's pretend I had this, I did have issues with my mother, but whatever. Yeah. Not this big, but let's say I was like, hated each other. When I finally become an adult is when I find the ability to remember her, look at her, deal with her without pointing the finger at her and blaming her.
Yeah.
I can no longer blame her if I want to become an adult. What I do is I say, I expected my mother to be able to give me everything, do everything, be everything. And she was mean and didn't give me anything. And everything that's wrong with me is her fault. But okay, eventually I'm going to learn that she wasn't capable of all those expectations I had of her. Things will come up as a mother for myself that are going to be triggers about the mother issue I had.
I see.
How I deal with other people. Am I being codependent? Am I being, unreasonable? Am I being tough or whatever? And so the idea is, the triggers will be there. Am I going to, allow those triggers to be powerful over me? Or am I just going to notice them and say, ha, there they are again.
Yeah.
Ah, there it is.
And that's the power of being self-love and being spiritually aware. Like, I don't know if that's that calmness of being the witness rather than the reactor.
Yeah, and you say, whoa, that was really horrible. I'm pretty amazing. I got through it. I'm alive today. My friends love me. Okay, there's still some triggers going on in there. Wow, I have an immeasurable journey ahead of me, but I'm so strong and I'm willing to take the journey wherever it leads me, which is what you're doing. You kind of have to, there's that great walking meditation. Did I ever teach you that walking meditation? I bless each step.
A blessing step, yeah.
I bless each step. I remember living in New York City and being overwhelmed, depressed. I was working for a company that was not my style. I had no direction in life. I was lonely, and I would walk across town. And when I was really intense about it, sometimes everything would get in my way. People would be in my red light, traffic. Oh my God, then I'd stress out. I have to get to work. I'm hot and sweaty, and I got to go to the, 36th floor of this corporate building, and rah, rah, rah. And as soon as I would go, I bless each step. I bless each step. I bless each step. Suddenly, people were not in my way. The light was green. I made it to work on time. I got there calmly. And I had to constantly remember, I bless each step as I would walk through New York City, because the energy there is constantly bombarding you.
Yeah.
If you're at all sensitive.
Yeah, totally.
So you keep going along. You have a tough day. I bless each step. This is a tough day. Acknowledge it. I am having a really hard time right now. I'm going to just acknowledge that. Wow, I'm still working on my healing. Okay, but hey, I am still working on my healing. 2 thumbs up or whatever. Acknowledge it. Wow, this really sucks. It's really hard. Okay. Wow, I must be really stronger than I ever figured. I tell you all the time, you're so strong.
Yeah, you do.
Because you keep going and play in ways that I just think are amazing.
Thank you.
You are is amazing.
Yeah, right? It is, and I am. People, I don't think I'm not grateful. I'm so grateful. And that's the thing that's been surprising, is that I see how I'm so full of love and so grateful, and everything's fantastic on the outside, but it is within. It's totally within, and that's, we've got to remember that, guys. It doesn't come from external pleasure. It's totally your good feeling comes from within. And that's I'm living proof of this right now. And I've always understood it mentally, but I haven't really felt it in my heart to go, shit, this is true. Like I'm witnessing my mental cracks and having to deal with them while everything around me is freaking awesome. Like, it's beautiful. And I'm working it really well. Chris and I are working so well together, and it's just so many things to be happy for. And here I am walking around miserable because internally I'm battling. And that's okay. But okay, let's get a move on. That's where I'm going. Let's get a move on with this. It's now a week and a bit, like this, but I just have to process it. I get
it. There's the unreasonable expectation.
Okay.
I think that you've just moved and everything's got to be peachy keen and perfect. Yeah. And look at all those things that you are dealing with. Just a move in itself is plenty. Okay, then let's take that away. Just a new relationship on its new physical level is plenty. Okay. Right? Just, acknowledging your sobriety and the end of a really wonderful, supportive class that you've been taking is right there. There's all these things all at once that are happening all at once. So, always cut yourself a break, give yourself a break, and acknowledge that these things take process time. They take process time. Okay. And we cannot compare ourselves to anybody else.
Yeah.
That's why I love that Louise Hay loving treatment prayer she has. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my mind, my consciousness, my very being, and radiates outward from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give, for the supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. So
I like that last one. The use of love is...
The use of love makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It's an expression of my inner joy.
Yeah, makes me feel good. It is. I mean, it really is. That's beautiful.
And for those people who don't connect to the word love, because love really is a learned concept. You know, it's not a tangible thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say, deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love and goodness. So goodness is in there infinitely with you when you allow it to come out. And the wonderful thing about it is when you allow your heart to open and come out, bam, it really does come right back at you.
Tenfold, yeah.
So, you know, I can write down this. I just remembered I was supposed to write something to somebody and I didn't do it. Yeah, I'll have to do that today.
Bypass.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes anyway, Darcy, so you can go do that now. Louise Hay is beautiful. Like, that's just a great way to close this circle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she is my go-to. You know, when I'm feeling really in the funk of it, in the black hole, and the slough of despond.
Okay, thanks. All right. You just let me bring on all the wonderful things I need to hear right now. Thank you.
I love those expressions. I read my Louise Hay book, and sometimes I just open randomly. We're going to go in just a second, but sometimes this is really fun. I love this book, right? Louise Hay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Right? You just, when you're really feeling bad, open to a page, and it's, oh, here we go. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I am one with the power that created me. I have within me all the ingredients for success. I now allow the success formula to flow through me and manifest in my world. Whatever I am guided to do will be a success. I learn from every experience. I go from success to success, from glory to glory. My pathway is a series of stepping stones. Oh, that's really I love that.
Oh my God. That's kind of fitting. That's kind of fitting. Yeah.
My pathway is a series of stepping stones to ever greater successes. All is well in my world.
That's what it's like pulling a card. Like totally spot on. Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. If you have any questions you want to ask or want us to talk about a topic, please write it down below. Don't forget that 1-800 number is there. Like, share, subscribe. We've got to get this out there, people. I know some people watch this. Please like, because it does circulate the, what is it, algorithms or something like that.
Yeah.
So it takes a little tick, nothing else. Just push the little mouse over and go click. What do I need to do? Yes, I got in the habit now that I'm asking from it. I do it to everyone on YouTube. I click everything that I like because I understand it now. Anyway, my loves, Darcy, you're beautiful. Thank you for your support and your wise words and encouragement. It's priceless.
I love and adore you. It's so great to see you. I'm glad you're feeling well. You look healthy. You look beautiful.
Thank you. And you. Bless you. Peace out, everyone. Good weekend to you. Take care. Bye.